Now I've got to be honest if I'm gonna start this video. I'm not bisexual.
What can I do?
Hey, what's up you gorgeous internet people? My name is Courtney J. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a lovely week. Now today we are talking about labels and if the label you choose is the correct one for you. Because I feel even though I talk about coming out a lot, I'm not really answering all the questions that you guys are specifically asking. This is going to be part of a new series what I'm starting on this channel from today and every single month onwards. But before we get into the video, massive shout out to the sponsor, and they are called Neewer. They are the one-stop shop for your lighting on any video you want to make, or if you're a photographer or if you're a humble little YouTuber like me. They're an amazing company which make cheap, affordable lighting, which is just brilliant. It's professional quality and I absolutely adore the equipment that I already have. And I got a nice tasty treat from them which I'm going to talk about later on in the video, so stick around to watch that. I'm not bisexual. This is probably something you guys have said to yourselves a million times, and I understand completely what you're going through because sexuality is one of the most confusing things to ever go through, and your emotions are constantly conflicting. One day you feel like you're more attracted to men, one day you feel like you're more attracted to women, some days you might think that you're gay, some days you think that you're straight, sometimes you feel like you're not attracted to anybody. So putting the label of bisexuality on you is so confusing and so hard to understand, and that's where I feel like labels can also be a problem. How I personally define a label is it's not actually something what's for me, it's for other people. So when they ask how I am or who I am, I can say I'm bisexual and they have a little bit more knowledge on who I am as a person. Because in turn, I don't actually need that label. I know what makes me happy and I know what I enjoy as a person, so I don't need a label to make me feel like I'm complete. And this is one of the small factors what everyone faces during their coming out process. What should I label myself as? Because maybe I kind of feel like I'm pansexual, but I kind of know that I'm definitely bisexual, so what is it? And what I say to that is, why label yourself? I feel like a label is something which you slap on to say, this is permanent, this is me, this is what I am. And if you don't quite know what you are, why label it at all? Just go along saying that you're human. I feel like with labels and the LGBTQ+ is there's a lot of rules to each one of these labels. Like you can't do something, or you can't be this, or you can't act that way because that's not confining in your box, which is your label. But that's not what the label was for originally. The label was there to help people understand who you are, not for people to get confused with understanding why you're doing something. And I think that's why I don't think labels should just be thrown around. I don't think you should just label yourself for the sake of it. You should really get to know yourself before you start choosing what you are or who you are, because different people come into our lives and different people make us feel different things. Human emotion is so complex. I think sexuality can be even more complex, because if I can be sad and happy at the same time, does that mean I can't be slightly confused about what my sexuality is at any point in time? Let me give you an example of this. You can go through your whole life, you can get married, you can have kids, and then one day you become single again. But you have a best friend, or you have a new friend that you've met, and it's a guy. And all of a sudden you start to develop a friendship. But then it starts to get more emotional, it starts to get more developed, and then eventually you start having romantic feelings for this person. Now, it may be only that person you've ever had those romantic feelings for. Does that make you any less bi, any less gay? Does that change your sexuality completely? Or does it make you stay completely the same? There have been hundreds, thousands, even millions of stories of people changing the people they date as they get older because you feel more developed in the world. You know more about yourself, you know what pleases you, and you're willing to experiment because you're not stuck up on what a label is or what sort of person you should be. Because when you get older, I feel like you start looking for what makes you happy rather than what makes other people happy around you. And that's one of the complexities of being a human being. There's nothing simple in life, nothing's ever black and white. There's always a grey area, and there's always something which you can define yourself as or change yourself as from one single moment in time. And that's one of the reasons why I feel like you shouldn't jump the gun when you start to decide what sexuality you are, because you might be something completely different in 5 years or 2 months or even tomorrow. I didn't always feel like I was bisexual, and eventually there was a day where I realised I wasn't straight either. It took time for me to understand myself. If I'm going to give any advice through this whole video, it should be you should do what makes you happy, what brings a smile to your face, what makes you feel good, because life is really short when you start living it. So why not live it the happiest you can be rather than worry about everybody else and you trying to make them happy. But with all that said and done, let's talk about today's sponsor. They are a company called Neewer, and these guys are absolutely amazing. Before they even offered me a sponsorship deal, I already had a load of their equipment. In fact, I'm using their ring light right now. I've had this for about 2 years and it's given me pretty incredible results. The best thing about it is it's small and it's light and it's portable. I can put it in a little bag and I can take it anywhere, and that's great for going to do collabs, but it's also brilliant for packing away in my house. I don't always have to worry about box lighting taking up huge amounts of space, because anybody who's had box lighting will know that it is a pain in the ass to fold down and put back up. But with lights which are LED, so they're cheap to run, you can have them anywhere, they're easy to store, and they're just absolutely brilliant. And these guys sent me out a little light which was called the SL140 or SL140, and that's what I've got in the background. This light is absolutely awesome. It's made of metal, it's made with quality, and the best thing about it is it's RGB, which means it can pretty much do any light on the spectrum. And it's got a great battery life. The worst thing is when your lights die halfway through a video, or the worst thing is that you always have to have them plugged in. But with that little light there, it's small, it's portable, and it has its own built-in battery, which means I can use it pretty much anywhere. I've had it for a couple of weeks now, and I gotta say the build quality on it is probably the best of any light I've ever seen or ever owned. I wouldn't have a sponsorship on this channel unless I actually thought they made decent quality products which I would use myself. So if you guys want to get hold of this light or my ring light, I'm gonna put it in the description below. Go and check them out. They are really good for anybody who is an up-and-coming YouTuber, filmmaker, or photographer. It's really awesome equipment and it's really cheap, which is perfect for a beginner, and they've got even more complex equipment for people who want to really invest in their lighting setup. I think they're brilliant and I think you will too. So guys, I hope you liked that video. If you did, give it a massive thumbs up. Also give it a share because it might help somebody with their coming out process. I'm gonna say love, peace and chicken grease. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Put your questions down below so I can read them too. Bye!